You are now in the black box. Whoa. With Spider Loke, Most Easty, aka VJ Keyway, and the Google Gang. Let's go!
Snakewood and that hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spider Loke. You know I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
Jeter, gratitude is the attitude. The show is a blessing to be back in the black box as we blow us a session. The constant, continuous, consistent content creation campaign continues. Those are the 7 C's as we navigate upon those 7 C's. I'm the captain of the ship, SPI Easty, a.k.a. VJ Keyway, Mr. 1597 himself. Extremely interesting reaction today. The title f***ed me up. I'm going to let you know what channel it came from. The name of the channel is Block Archives. It said Crips killed her brother, so she became their worst nightmare. Deadliest female, Piru. It's about Sylvia Nunn. Her name is Rambo. I think she from the east side of Compton. I don't want to say no specific neighborhood because I don't want to misquote it, but they finna talk about it. But no further ado, let's see what Cynthia Nunn, Rambo, has been up to. Oh, my mama.
Most people run from danger. Sylvia Nunn ran straight toward it. Growing up in the heart of Compton's gang wars, she was raised to fight, to survive, and when necessary, to kill. But when the Crips gunned down her brother, something in her snapped. She didn't just seek revenge, she embodied it. Ruthless, fearless, and always ready for war, she earned the name Rambo. But how did she go from a grieving sister to the Crips' worst nightmare? This is a story of Sylvia Nunn, the deadliest female Piru. In the late 1950s, Sylvia's family packed up and moved to the east side of Compton, looking for a fresh start in a single-family home.
I ain't gonna say where they went to, but not where they came from. Moving on up to the east side, guess so.
The neighborhood, however, was under the grip of the Lueders Park Piru, a blood gang. Sylvia
help him out, not the Lueders part, the looters. We just pronounce it looters, not Lued. I know you see that E in there, but it's just looters. Oh, my mama.
Came into the world in 1962, born into a well-off black family. She grew up with 2 brothers, including her older brother, Marcus, better known as China Dog, who would go on to become one of the founding members of the Lueders Park Piru gang. Their father, Willie Nunn, wasn't just any man. He was a professional boxer, tough and disciplined. He made sure Sylvia knew how to defend herself, teaching her both how to fight and how to handle a gun. Those lessons would prove invaluable when she found herself in dangerous situations, especially as gang tensions escalated around her.
I bet you her pops at that time taught her how to handle herself, more so not for gang violence, but to protect herself from outside.
Despite the tough environment, her parents worked hard to provide for their family, making sure their children had everything they needed. Sylvia, in particular, never went without. Every year, she got a brand new car, a reflection of the family's financial stability. But in 1973, everything changed. Willie Nunn was arrested for drug possession and sent to prison. And just like that, the backbone of the household was gone. Without him, the Nunn children were left to navigate a world that was getting darker by the day.
They say in the 70s, the man minus the household triggered a lot of the issues we're dealing with today. That's tweet.
Compton wasn't the same place it used to be. Gangs were growing fast, and both Crip and Piru sets were carving out their territory. Sylvia grew up in the middle of it all, watching and learning. She had 2 major influences, one teaching her, the other showing her that fighting wasn't just expected, it was normal. Picking up a gun wasn't a last resort. It was just part of life. And being in a gang, that wasn't a choice. It was survival. Her mother didn't raise her to be a lady. There were no dolls, no dress up, no makeup lessons. Instead, She learned how to fight before she even knew how to fix her hair. Everything she knew came from the men around her, men in gangs, men who lived by a code of violence and respect. And when that's all you know, what else are you supposed to become? Sylvia didn't choose this
She looked familiar. Oh, my mama, I ain't gonna lie.
life. She was born into it. When Sylvia was just 16, a sudden burst of gunfire shattered the afternoon calm outside her house. She didn't hesitate. She ran straight toward the sound. Just a short distance away, in a nearby park, a crowd had already gathered. Lying on the ground bleeding was her older brother, China Dog, and he had just been shot down by a car full of Compton Crips.
In the South Side, I wonder if he just using random pictures or is that who was allegedly, supposedly be responsible for it. Yeah.
The Crips outnumbered the Pirus 3-1, and this time they had the upper hand. Sylvia shoved her way through the crowd, her pulse hammering in her ears. Seeing her brother like this, hurt, helpless, sent a surge of rage through her. The heartbreak was there, sure, but the anger burned hotter. This wasn't just his fight anymore, it was hers too. And in that moment, she made up her mind. She wasn't backing down. His war was now her war. She had to find the Crips who did this, an eye for an eye. That was the only justice that made sense in her world. Sylvia Nunn believed that the main thing was to kill, to take control of life and death with her own hands. But despite how bad it looked, China Dog survived. He was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was now recovering. And Sylvia, at just 16 years old, she had made her choice. She was now a member of the Looters Park Pirus. Now, if you're talking about the most notorious Piru sets in Compton, the Looters Park Piru, also known as the Looters Park Bompton Piru, has to be in the conversation. But before they were Pirus, they were actually called the Looters Park Hustlers back in the 1970s. Over time, they transitioned into becoming a...
Now, we know them ain't Pirus, right? Bounty hunters. Oh, my.
full-fledged Piru gang, staking their claim on the east side of Compton. Their name comes straight from Looters Park, their old...
That's crazy, because in Gonzales Park, them signs got the red trimming. I wonder how Looters didn't get in on that, because, yeah. Oh, my mama, that shit true, like the rest of the city. Oh, my mama.
Stomping ground. That's where members would gather, playing ball, getting high, and let's be real, planning their next moves. This wasn't just a hangout spot, it was their headquarters, the place where everything started. And from there, their reputation only grew. Now their turf stretches from Bullis Road to Atlantic Avenue between Compton Boulevard and Rosecrans Avenue. They're boxed in by some other well-known sets. Mob Piru to the north, Hollywood Piru to the south, Elm Street Piru to the west, and Lime Hood Piru to the east. And while they had their fair share of allies, they also had a long list of enemies, especially among the Crips and some Sureño gangs. If you know anything about the 90s West Coast rap scene, then you know about Suge Knight. The Death Row Records boss had strong ties to the mob Piru, and the Looters Park Piru were right in that mix. In fact, they were hired as security for Death Row during the height of the gangster rap era. Back then, the lines between the streets and the music industry were blurred. Gang politics bled right into the rap game. And when Tupac Shakur was shot in Las Vegas on September 7th, 1996, everything exploded. The streets of Compton turned into a war zone. The mob Piru and Southside Compton Crips were already beefing, but after Tupac's murder, things got even worse. Looters Park Piru sided with mob Piru in the conflict.
It was up and it was stuck on my mama. I remember facts.
And the violence only escalated. But here's the twist. Despite riding with Mob Piru during the war, Looters Park and Mob Piru eventually became enemies themselves. A lot of it stemmed from internal conflicts, betrayals, and murders tied to the death row era. They tried calling a truce, but in the end, it just didn't stick. When it comes to alliances, Looters Park Piru has linked up with sets like Elm Street Piru, Lime Hood Piru, Hollywood Piru, and Cross Atlantic Piru.
They stretching this out with a whole lot of Piru history. We trying to hear about Rambo, Sylvia Nunn, and what she done. Oh, my mama, Baba. He just Piru history. What's cracking with the story?
Kelly Park Compton Crips, Santana Block Compton Crips, Dusty Hood Compton Crips, Neighborhood Compton Crips, and even some blood sets like Fruittown Piru. And then there's their long-standing beef with the Sureños, including gangs like Compton Vario 70s, Compton Vario Chicano Gang, and Compton Vario Largo 36. Sylvia was the youngest in the Lueders Park crew and the only girl carrying a...
This must be AI the way he keeps saying Lueders. Oh, my mama. It's some pretty good AI, but it's AI.
gun. More than anything, she wanted to prove she was just as tough as her older brother, Marcus. She wasn't about to be treated like some tagalong. She wanted respect. So when Marcus's friends asked her to help rob a gas station, she didn't hesitate. They walked there together, and along the way, they were hyping her, even carrying her on their shoulders like she was some kind of champion. When they got there, they smashed the window with the handles of their guns and then shoved Sylvia through the broken glass. Inside, with a gun pointed straight at her face, she locked eyes with the cashier. They made it clear this was a robbery and there was no room for mistakes. Sylvia grabbed every last dollar from the register and handed it over to the Bloods, but she wasn't about to walk away empty-handed. She made sure she got her cut. Marcus's boys looked at her funny, almost like they thought it was a joke. They told her they'd buy her a popsicle or something, but Sylvia wasn't laughing. She let them know real quick. This wasn't a game to her. If she was doing the job, she was getting paid. So they tossed her some loose change. It wasn't much, but Sylvia didn't care. She wasn't just some girl tagging along. She was one of them, and she was going to make sure they knew it. Unlike most of the girls in the pack, Sylvia didn't just follow orders or wait for someone to tell her what to do. That wasn't her style. She wanted to stand on her own, just like Marcus. And with both of them deep in the Bloods, their house became more than just a home. It turned into the gang's headquarters, and that put a target on it. The Crips knew what was up, and they weren't about to let it slide. They started lighting up the Nunn house with gunfire, aiming to take out China Dog. But it wasn't just the Crips after him. The police wanted him too. They'd come knocking, looking to drag him in, and every time they did, they clashed with his mother. The cops didn't just come for him. They made sure to threaten her too. Sylvia couldn't take it. Watching them harass her mother over and over lit a fire in her. She stepped up furious, telling them to back off, to leave her mother alone. One of the cops just looked at her, almost amused, then threw a line at her. "Who do you think you are, Rambo?" And from that moment on, Rambo was born.
That was supposed to be a question. You made it a statement, AI. Who do you think you are? Rambo? Because y'all know Rambo, First Blood, he was like a one-man army, like 1597, Mr. 1597, against a whole platoon, and he did his stuffuses. All right, Rambo.
China Dog eventually got locked up, spending years in the youth authority. But out in the streets, Sylvia was only sinking deeper into that life. Then came the 1980s, and with it, the crack cocaine epidemic. It tore through South Central Los Angeles, Compton, Watts, Inglewood, everywhere. Gang members weren't just selling it, they were using it too. Sylvia was no different. She already had a name for being violent, always strapped. But now, high on crack, she was out on drive-by shootings, feeling nothing. No guilt, no pain, no remorse. Then in April 1991, the cops rolled up with a warrant for Sylvia's arrest. They gave her two choices. Either she could go to jail or she could start talking about the looters Park Piru's drug operations. She decided to cooperate, but just a few months later, on July 23rd, in the middle of the afternoon, Sylvia got a call from her mom, the kind of call that shifts your whole world. Her older brother, Junior Nunn, had been shot in the back of the head while walking his girlfriend home. Just like that, he was gone. Sylvia just couldn't make sense of it. Junior wasn't about that life. He was one of the calmest, kindest people she knew. Wouldn't hurt a fly, literally. So why him? Why now? What she didn't see was that this wasn't random. She was right in the middle of it. Her family wasn't just involved in the game, they were royalty. And when you're at the top, everyone's watching.
So before she really went on one and turned into a D.I.E.Z. man, she was already a rat. She was already telling on her own homies in their operation, and she's still finna go on one. That's crazy.
So what does Sylvia do? She goes home, throws on some men's clothes, and grabs one of her dad's guns. Then she steps right into Crip territory. She starts chatting, playing it cool, listening, and whenever somebody's name comes up, she makes a note, then heads straight to their house and puts a bullet in their head, one by one, all in the name of Junior. That first kill after her brother's murder, that was it. That was the moment she stopped being just a girl. That was the moment she became a gangster. But revenge wasn't just about her. It was about her mother too. Sylvia made sure those other mothers felt the same pain her own mother felt when she got that call. On the streets, word got around quickly. They started calling her by her nickname, Rambo. She wasn't out there trying to look cute. No makeup, no nails, no jewelry, just black from head to toe. Shoes, socks, shirt, pants, coat, and a beanie. Even her red flag, that deep wine-colored one, stayed tucked under the beanie. Her job? She was out there to kill. And when it was over, when the streets had been served, she'd slip back into her car, peel off the beanie and coat, let her hair fall, and just like that, she was someone else. Just a woman driving home. That was her disguise. But in 1993, everything changed. In 1993, Sylvia Nunn left behind everything she knew and took off to Las Vegas, Nevada. Then, 2 years later, she married John Hardman, a former sheriff from Kansas City, Missouri, and changed her name to Sylvia Hardman, trying to start fresh. It was a complete shift. She walked away from gang life and focused on building a future. She became deeply involved with the Second Missionary Baptist Church in Pahrump, Nevada, trading her old ways for faith. As she put it, I put down Piru and picked up Jesus. But before that transformation, Sylvia had built a reputation, one that made her the central figure in a 2008 episode of Gangland called From Girl to Gangster. The episode focused on female gang members, the Criplets and Bloodlets, but the real spotlight was on Sylvia, better known on the streets as Rambo, and her ties to the looters Park Pirus. Sylvia described women in gangs as some of the most dangerous players. Why? Because cops were less likely to search them. That gave them an advantage. They could carry weapons, substances, even commit crimes for their male counterparts, all while flying under the radar. These girls weren't just bystanders. They learned early how to survive. They knew how to fight, how to use a knife, how to shoot a gun, and how to steal. Many got caught up in substances, and some were even exploited by the men in their own gangs. But sometimes they flipped the script, using their relationships with rival gang members to gather intel. And Sylvia, she was feared. She had no hesitation, no fear. That's what made her one of the most dangerous women in her gang. But in the end, her story took a different turn. On April 20th, 2010, Sylvia Hardman passed away. She was laid to rest at Woodlawn Cemetery in Las Vegas. Her legacy, however, didn't end there. In Compton, her sister, Cynthia Nunn, started a non-profit in her honor, Sylvia Nunn Angels. The organization is dedicated to giving back to the community, helping kids and families find a better path, one that doesn't lead to the streets. Sylvia Nunn's life was full of twists and turns, from gangster to believer, from feared to remembered. And through her story, her impact still lives on. What are your thoughts on this story?
My thoughts? I'm glad to find out that she's not like that. Rest her soul, condolences. But they was talking about all these He Not ones. I was thinking like, man, I'm probably not finna put this out because there's no statute of limitations, but she's already transitioned, man. Rest in peace to her. Cold story. Made me think about this song right here. What's happening?
Hey, check this out.
All my life, like,
What it is, though?
from my mama house to my daddy house, it was like straight up central.
I'ma tell you how it is. I was
Line of
raised
the
by the
century,
streets.
yeah,
I'm known
yeah.
from the west to the east.
Like 156 to
What a Crips, they was cracking.
99th
Blood,
Street.
they was cracking. I ain't turning down now.
That's how I ended up
I
like
was raised by
banging.
the streets. I'm known from the west to
Like
the east.
970, you did.
What a Crips, they was cracking. The Bloods, they was cracking. I ain't turning down now. What's
Loaded
happening?
up like the dam, same bandana, all black head to toe, like a bang Santana. Clan of lantanas on the scanner when it's time to trip. Can I be a Los Angeles loc and a Compton crib? No brain, head paid magnets, chomping on tracks. First rapper on the map, just say bumping on wax. Relax and get your whole group beat by boot. By SPI, Boodaroo, and Treetop. True, 1597, fucking with the 400s. Wanna run it in, I'ma let the whole fun it. All on a bitch, boy, break a nigga face. Biggest mistake to think you can ever take a nigga play. See, I came up with some CC riders. Cause watch your cack at the center divider. Here in Tyler, Pot and Chill. My track, new G homies. G, ask the streets about me, I'm a G
Tell you how
homie.
it is. I was raised by the streets. I'm known from the west to the east. What a Crips, they was cracking. The Bloods, they was cracking. I ain't turning down now. What's happening? I was raised by the streets. I'm known from the west to the east. What a Crips, they was cracking. The Bloods, they was cracking. I ain't turning down now.
Streets
What's
been a
happening?
motherfucker, but I'ma play ball. SPI, AD, fucking with the 400, no bleep. Really in the trenches, but I'm strapped when I do it. And money is the mode, yellow tape, how I rule. That ain't black, West trees, why I do it? So nigga, watch your ass at the center of the vibe. Been getting dope, hella active, can't change ways. Bumping all I know who wanna play games. I'm thinking nobody, really catch a body. I don't fuck with these niggas, this be fucking with these niggas. Real street baby, really get it baby. When I show up, I show out. A nigga need a bag, stick a nigga out. On side that video, so who talking? Nigga had to get it, so I can tell you how I did it. Who more active? West side really ride. Bitch niggas
I'ma tell you how it is. I was raised by the streets. I'm known from the west to the east. What a Crips, they was cracking. The Bloods, they was bragging. I ain't turning down now. What's happening? I was raised by the streets. I'm known from the west to the east. What a Crips, they was cracking. The Bloods, they was bragging. I ain't turning down now. What's happening?
Really in it, she get ugly at any minute. Hit the club and done security, sneaking and send me in it. One time's coming, we gon' floor. Chevy got to hit me in it. It was cracking in the hood. They would say that 20 did it up. Kill it on these tracks. I know Flo, he got my back. Stacking dollar with the strap. SBI with that big Mac. Look, first a couple stacks. That better read the stats. When I'm rapping, it's the truth. Every line I speak is facts. Look, my mama said my homies was a bad look. We was hitting schools trying to steal a couple MacBooks. I was always that nigga to try to rumble up with it. Put a lot of niggas on their
I'ma
ass.
tell you how it is. I was raised by the streets. I'm known from the west to the east. What a Crips, they was cracking. The Bloods, they was bragging. I ain't turning down now. What's happening? I was raised by the streets. I'm known from the west to the east. What a Crips, they was cracking. The Bloods, they was bragging. I ain't turning down now. What's happening? What's happening?
Nigga in that hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.
It's the homie cook-up boss, goddammit, Cub Low.
And y'all tuning in to the Wake and Bake Show with goddamn it, the homeboy Spider Loc.
Here with SPI, the realest nigga in LA.
Spider this bitch.
My nigga Spider Loc. Spider Loc, nigga.
Spider Loc.
Spider Loc.
Spider Loc.
Spider Loc.
Spider Loc.
Spider Loc, that's my nigga.
Spider Loc.
Spider Loc. Shout out to SPI, that motherfucking nigga.
Spider Loc, Wake and Bake. Better keep it Google, nigga.
Loc is in LA somewhere doing what he's doing.
In the words of Spider Loc, on my mama's mama.
Spider Loc's gear. This is Bay Mac.
Neighborhood, C-Mac. Shout out my Loc, Spider Loc, cuz. Neighborhood, on hood. It's a beautiful world. You fight me? Fight, Crips.
Point blank, do no subliminal dissing. When I listen, I can tell you never been on no mission. Sticking to the script, don't care if I offend you. Neighborhood Crip, the marathon
I overlook my competition, never seeing them. I done train my mind that I'm going. You could tell by how I walk, talk, I'm a boss. A east side millionaire, homie, what you thought? My life is a movie. They can't get close to me. They mad cause they can't be. I'm everything that they wanna be, yeah.
You are now in the Black Box. Whoa. With Spider Loc, Most Eastie, aka BJ Keyway, and the Google Gang.
Let's go!